What is happening? You're listening to episode 303 of the Nintendo Powercast. I'm your host, N64 Josh, player 2, Nightcrawler. What's up, dude?
Hey, how's it going? And it's Crawler coming at you.
Player 3, Super Nintendo. What's happening?
What's going on? How's it going?
It's going well. It's going well. Guys, that music you just heard is from Richard B. Go check him out on YouTube. He does so many different metal covers. They're great. They're incredible. Like games, movies, like you name it, he's probably covered it, and he's just absolutely sick at guitar. So go check that guy out. It's great. If you want to pick up my book, n64josh.com/anothercastle. If you want me to read it to you, it's at Audible, n64josh.com/audible. It's free on Audible if you've never signed up. So go sign up. Get the book for free if you want. My Nintendo shop, n64josh.com/Amazon. That's going to be all of your game recommendations. I had my mug on stream today, and everybody's like, I need that mug. It's on my shop. If you want some killer Nintendo swag, go check out my shop. It's great.
Is this the pipe mug that disappears when you drink it on green screen?
Yeah, the green screen, yep. The green screen pipe mug. It definitely disappears on green screen for sure.
And I'm obligated to talk about the comically large gallon of jug of water that Josh drinks on stream.
Yes,
come pay the 200 channel points to watch him drink
to hydrate. It's 1,000 now because it was getting out of control. Every new person that showed up was like, you can hydrate now. I'm like, no more. So yeah, so there you go. But with that, you know what, let's just jump into this thing. Let's just jump into it. Like, we'll mix it up a little bit. We always go through all the other things. We got all the podcasts. Go listen to them. Get into the Discord and come race Mario Kart with us. I do want to let you know I'm streaming every day at 10.
Smash this month.
Yeah, come play Smash. We're doing a tournament. And every day at 10 I'm streaming on Twitch, except tomorrow because I have physical therapy tomorrow. So it's as long as I don't have appointments. So, but we're going to get into like 2021 predictions. I know we talked about it last week, or we were going to talk about it last week, but we just never got around to it. There's looks like Apex has been leaked, and it's a pretty solid leak. And we also want to talk about Lucasfilm. What that means for the future of Nintendo. So I'm thinking. Let's go. Here we go. All right. So the first thing Crawler said when we got in the call was like, "Can we talk about Lucas? Can we talk about the Lucas stuff?" So take it away, man. Kick it off. Let's get into it.
Yeah. So I don't know what date it officially came out, but Lucasfilm Games is officially branded now. They took a good chunk of like previous titles that have been released with mainly Star Wars IP, but we can talk a little bit more about what's coming down the pipe because LucasArts definitely has a pedigree and a history, and I think they're going to be honoring that as we move forward. But for the most part, they took a lot of clips from Battlefront and Jedi Fallen Order and what's the newest one? What was the flight? Something Squadron? I forget.
Say that again. We cut out. I had to switch servers.
Squadrons, I think. Just Squadrons.
Star Wars Squadrons. Yeah. They took some shots of that, and then the upcoming Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga, which still surprisingly doesn't have a release date. But yeah. They pretty cool trailer together, and it's kind of just showcasing that all this is brought under Lucasfilm Games is what it's called, I believe. So they're not going back to LucasArts because Disney either that shut down right before Disney or right after Disney bought Lucasfilm. But it's pretty much just the resurgence of that a little bit. And also the fact that they announced later that week that Ubisoft is working on an open world Star Wars game. So they pretty much slapped EA in the face and said, we're going to be ready to go as soon as our 10-year contract is up. And it takes about 2 years to make a game. And Ubisoft is working on that now. It's going to be the Division studio at Ubisoft that's working on that. So they're staffing up, and they have job postings up, and it's going to be an open world RPG element type game. So a video game in 2020, 2021, how they all look. I mean, that's what it's going to be. But there's no specifics on what time frame it's going to be. I hope maybe they find a way to tie it in with the High Republic that they just kind of launched this past month. They can have a lot of Jedi and maybe some hidden Sith sitting around, or they could go back even further and touch base on some of the Old Republic stuff where there was actually a lot of Sith running around and a lot of Jedi, and there was some really cool wars that they can bring back into canon, which all video games moving forward with Star Wars are canon. So there's exciting stuff that can be going on, but they also touched on the fact that there's going to be an Indiana Jones game coming out here in a little bit. And who knows, we might see a Monkey Island or something else come out here in the future, because that was all kind of under that banner back in the day.
Of course, my first question is, what are we going to see from the vault, if you will? You know, are we going to see the Super Star Wars series? Are they going to maybe release a collection, or, you know,
those games were hard.
It's funny because, like, I remember renting Super Star Wars. I had it for 3 days, right? And I was at my buddy's house, and I remember vividly getting to the top of the sandcrawler, dying. And it was like, this is so disheartening. Like, there's no continues. There's no, like, or we'd used them all or whatever. Like, it was so unforgiving.
Did you eventually get like was it like a Mega Man kind of thing where you got a code to jump ahead? I don't even remember. I had Return of the Jedi on Game Boy. I think I played a lot of, but that was on the Game Boy. It was even hard too. Like, they did not make those games easy.
No, and I mean, you go all the way back to the NES, and those games, like, those games were not. You were going all over the place. On a land speeder,
just going back and forth.
Just going everywhere. I actually have Empire complete in box, like the cardboard box for the NES. I have a couple of the Star Wars, the original. I have Empire's box, Super Empire Strikes Back also, but. Yeah, they were very difficult games. And I remember I got Empire Strikes Back. I've told this story many times. I got it on Christmas Eve. I played it till 5 a.m. That one did have that one for sure had you could, like, at least punch in and go back to the level you had made it to. I don't think the first Super Star Wars did. I think it was like that unforgiving. It was like, you've got to play this in one go. I think. I could be wrong though. I remember beating Empire. Then finally getting Jedi, I beat that, and then getting Super Star Wars, and I was like, all right, I've got to and so I remember completing the trilogy as a kid, but they were not easy. Like, they were rough.
And they roughly followed the movies. They kind of took their liberties.
Oh, they definitely took the liberties. Yeah, but I mean, it was so cool in Empire. Like, when Vader's throwing all that junk at you, and you're trying to slice it, and like there were elements that were great. The snow speeders in Empire were great. Mm-hmm. But then running around in the ice caves, it was like, I'm like, this isn't in the movie. Like, what is this? But obviously they got to make levels. So, but that's what I wanted. I mean. The Rogue Squadron games and spare changes like Rogue Squadron HD, like, they could do a collection of Rogue Squadron games and put that Wii game out that was never released but's finished.
Yep, sitting on a dev kit in Factor 5.
So somebody from Factor 5 has it. Yeah, I think the old president of Factor 5 has has it. So, like, yeah, let's see what that game was about, and and then. I mean, some new Star Wars games as well. I posted on TikTok today. I was like, hey, let me know what you guys want what are some of your 2021 like games that you want or predictions that you have. And I had multiple people mention the Skywalker Saga. Like, there's a handful of people that are looking forward to this game. And I mean, the Lego games are like Lego Ninjago or whatever. That one was actually felt like a really cool beat 'em up arcade game. Most of the Star Wars games are a little bit meh because it's just like they're made for very young kids, to be able to get through them. But
it's a gotta collect them all kind of thing where you just get all the minifigs and you can mix and match and play dress up, and there's all sorts of fun stuff in there.
Exactly. Chris, what do you think?
Yes.
Do you got any hopes or dreams, or what do you think of this Lucas Games going down?
Earlier tonight, I don't know what compelled me to do it, but I started playing through The Mummy Demastered again.
Oh yeah, so good.
And then I was thinking, why don't they just get like Way Forward to make like Super The Force Awakens or Super The Mandalorian, and then just have the same sort of style as the old Super Star Wars games, and then just make them like basically like sequels for those games 20 years, 40 years later, whatever it is.
Mando would be a perfect, like, I've wanted Nintendo to do this for a long time. I wanted them to make a 2D Metroid that was like made by Way Forward or something, right? But then it was maybe a $10-15 game, but then they continued to give you bounties, right? That you could pick up like through DLC or something like that. Like if, and it was like you were continually getting, I mean, with Mando, it'd be like you could do the same exact thing. He could be grabbing different bounties and just going forever. Like I like that idea a lot. And plus just that play style would, all of his different weapons that he has, it would just,
yeah.
And I was actually playing Contra this week, and so I'll talk about that a little bit later on, but yeah, that run and gun side scroller style game. Like,
I mean, I think Bad Batch could probably the new animated show that's coming out here. I think that's later this year or early next year, but that could bode well for like a side scrolling shooter probably for 2 or 3 players. And I mean, there's like Disney's got so much IP with Star Wars coming out that there can be lots. And I'm glad that they don't have to be shoehorned into just EA now. Like Respawn proved that there's good games to come out of EA, but it took them a really long time. And Battlefront has improved, but EA definitely dropped the ball for like 5 years until they finally got their head on straight with it. And they've had controversy for a while too. Like, was 1313 canceled under EA, or was that before the deal?
No, that was LucasArts.
Before they shut down LucasArts?
Yeah.
Because 1313 was a really cool, I don't even know what year EA, the E3 that was, but that was a really cool demo that we just didn't get to see anything develop out of that. And then there was also EA shut down a whole studio that was working on a Star Wars game. So EA has just not, they haven't run with it enough to, I mean, they printed money with a gacha game on mobile a little bit, but
well, yeah,
that's not what people want to see.
That
though.
And the Force, what was it called? The
Galaxy of Heroes or something like that, I think.
Yeah, but what was the one that just came out on the Xbox and the
Fallen Order?
Yeah, Fallen Order. Yeah, so apparently they're making a sequel to that, and they're making a Battlefront 3, right? Those are like
I would think
games from EA.
I would think EA would get rewarded with the 2 most successful stuff that they've done, but Disney and Lucas have proven that they're ready to break ties and open it up and not shoot, like, be stuck in this whole exclusivity deal.
I wouldn't be surprised if. Go ahead.
No, I just wonder how it looks. Right, I wonder how it all works out. Like, we know that Respawn is working on the Fallen Order 2, right? We know that sequel's happening. So, what, like, is it going to be a split publishing deal, like where Lucas Games is going to help with the marketing side of things? Like, I'm just curious on how these deals work. If down the road we've got EA supporting Battlefield 3 or Battlefront 3, and then, Fallen Order comes out, and then, Ubi Massive is working on this open world, we assume we don't think we know much about it, right? It just kind of said open world RPG or whatever, but
I mean, I think LucasArts or Lucasfilm Studios is just going to be an overseeing entity that has publishing rights on it, and they're licensing out their IP, because pretty much instead of EA having exclusive rights to it, Disney's bringing it back inside, and they're going to say, we're going to be the gatekeepers and we're going to dole it out as we see fit.
Mhm.
So if EA has proven that they've done a good job with stuff, then they're going to get dealt those cards. But they're going to spread the love around, and I think it's better for us as well, because EA was focusing on other stuff too, because they have sports and they have shooters and they have racing and they have all sorts of stuff, and this means that more studios that are focused on more different kind of game styles, we can have a larger kind of stable of stuff to play.
Well, and we've seen these kind of deals before, right? Like Star Wars Pinball's on the Switch. That's from like, what is it? Zen Studios, I believe. Mm-hmm. You've got Warner Brothers doing the Lego games. It's their Warner Brothers are publishing them, I believe. It's a Warner Brothers studio that I believe that's the case. So there has to be something. Typically, like the question I have is it an exclusive deal or is it not with EA? Right? Like maybe nobody can make a AAA game, but the other games are okay. And I know you guys mentioned that Galaxy of Heroes. That game is that the one that plays like Clash of Clans?
It's you build like four or five, I think, and they clash with each other.
Yeah, you build bases, and then it's like
I downloaded it, but then I saw it was a gacha, and I was like, nope.
Yeah, no, it really is
on gacha games.
But I bet you they make a killing on it.
I think they made over. I think they've made over. I don't know what the financials are, but I think they've made over $1 billion.
That's crazy. It's crazy. So I mean, I think the surprising thing is that we're seeing a big AAA studio now take another Star Wars title that is typically, EA is typically the publisher, and then you got Respawn working on it. So I'm just curious, is this going to be is Fallen Order 2 going to be a EA published game, or is it that's what I just want to know how the hierarchy works at this point and I'm all for it. Like get as much Star Wars out there as possible. You know what I mean? So, Chris, you were going to say something.
I was just going to say, I think it's going to be like how Marvel Ultimate Alliance says Marvel Games, and so does Avengers, and so does Spider-Man. They all say Marvel Games in front of them, but they're all made by different companies and on different platforms. I think they're going to end up doing something similar with the Lucasfilm games.
Well, and also moving forward, going a little bit, the Indiana Jones stuff that was announced that I teased a little bit, that's being made by Bethesda. So that's going to say Xbox Game Studios in front of it as well. Mm-hmm. So is that going to be
exclusive to the
Is
Xbox?
that going to be exclusive? It depends. I mean, Disney's in the mood of making money. So if they can, and any more so is Xbox, they don't seem to, we haven't seen anything new come out of Bethesda, and to know how they're going to treat that acquisition of what they spent four something billion on that, $2 billion. So I mean, who knows what they're going to do with that, if they want to try to get onto the massive install base that is PS. Well, I don't know if this is future enough that it's going to be PS4 and Xbox One, but what the install bases of PS5 and Xbox Series is going to be. But
plus, like Microsoft said, that they're going to allow them to honor their previous contracts. So this isn't something that you just sign, you come up with in a week or two. They, like when they signed that deal, they could have been like, "Hey, you need to release this on as many platforms as possible."
Yeah, because Bethesda has a PlayStation exclusive coming out that is still staying exclusive.
Right. I think like as long as a system sells a certain number of units, that like they need to release it like a FIFA game onto it, and that's the only reason they bring out those legacy FIFA games is because of the deal they have with the FIFA company.
Got you.
Or organization, whatever you want to call it. But yeah. Also, Starlink. What if they do like a Star Wars Starlink game?
Yeah,
that could be good.
The ships would need to play like differently though. for me, I think Starlink is cool, but I like Squadrons feels like such a just it's more fun to be in a ship like that. Now, if there were ships designed like that could go in and out of you know, like turn on a dime and whatever if it controlled similarly anyway, you know, like who knows, put those into the lore, I guess. But
like sand speeders or something.
Yeah,
you're
maybe
just all on a bunch of sand speeders.
But I like the idea of like, but even if it was like take like Rogue Squadron, you know, third person perspective, semi-rail shooter, but you could similar to the dogfight that happens on Jakku when they're leaving, right? And they're flying around, and then that you can take off right into space, and then who knows what, like there could be some pretty intense space battles that team could put together, and that would be very cool. I hope, you know, that the Switch gets some kind of exclusive, and I don't mean it because I want it to be an exclusive to the Switch. I want it to be a game that is made for the Switch's hardware, so that it runs well, right? So that we're not just getting these cloud games all the time, but like stuff that is designed for the Switch. Because I mean, you know, Battlefront 2 looks gorgeous, but there's no way. I mean, it would have to be a cloud to run that game on the Switch.
You mean like something like Marvel Ultimate Alliance,
exactly,
like made for the Switch?
Yeah.
But like Star Wars Pinball almost is best on Switch, because if you pay the $10-15 or whatever it is for a flip grip, you can play pinball tables in vertical mode, which is so cool. And or even if you have like my computer monitors rotate pretty easily. If you have a TV monitor or a gaming monitor that can rotate, you can actually turn on, I think it still works even in docked mode, you can turn on rotation. So you can play it in a different orientation that just takes advantage of how a pinball table is supposed to look, and it's pretty cool. Yeah,
it's awesome. It's very cool. So lots of possibilities, lots of potential out there, and I mean, I love Star Wars, and I mean, Rogue Squadron was one of the main reasons I was so stoked for the GameCube. You know, it was like this was. I remember the Christmas that Jen got me the GameCube, and we went to everybody's house, all the different family members and friends, and everybody had a different, you know, gift. And my in-laws had Rogue Squadron for me, and I was like, I'm like, this was the last place we needed to go. I want to get home and I want to play this game. You know what I mean? And I remember the first time like hooking up component cables to my Sony 32-inch, you know, Trinitron, and seeing it in like, you know, 480p, you know, and it was just like,
150-pound TV.
My gosh, I had to lift Jen was pregnant with our second kid when we got that TV. I had to lift it on the entertainment center myself. Like, oh my goodness. So
what about Shadow
TVs when they had
Empire?
handles built into them?
Yeah.
What about the people that made that brought back Pod Racer? What if they bring back like Shadow of the Empire or Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2? Bring those back to the Switch.
Does EA have some claim to with BioWare?
Well, because BioWare does, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, so I think EA has some claim to
maybe
Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2.
They brought them out to the iPad. Like
and they're still like almost all these Star Wars games that we're mentioning are still available on Steam. Well, I don't know who publishes them all on Steam, but there are different options there. Like Episode 1 Racer has online multiplayer with on through Steam, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But like there's Star Wars, there's like the original Rogue Squadron 3D on Steam as well. So a lot of these games do have some kind of element that has been upgraded at least a little bit. That I would hope to see maybe some of that back catalog now that there is kind of a bigger entity overseeing it all that can maybe that should have all the rights to it. I would think it's in some way, or at least we know they have the money to negotiate it if they want to. And I would love to see a lot more of the back catalog and what we're talking about, some of this new stuff come out.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah, I mean there's so much nostalgia for Star Wars, you know. And especially Star Wars on Nintendo systems. Killer B in chat says, look, looking back, there's been some fantastic Star Wars games on Nintendo systems. And there really has, from even, I mean, I don't know. I know the Wii had those games so you could use the Wii remote as a lightsaber. I don't think they were all that great, but there has been there kind of a rich history of really, really stellar titles. And so at the very least, yeah, let's get just start with
Star
support.
Wars Connect.
And yeah, Star Wars Connect, exactly. And I mean, the Super games, Super Star Wars 1, 2, and 3, they were on the Wii for a short period of time. You could get them if you purchased those on the Wii, on the eShop. You could still have them today, but it was a short licensing deal. Same with Ninja Turtles, it was a short licensing deal. So,
and Super Star Wars, they both came to PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 3 as well.
Yeah, that's right. Was it just the first game, or was it
the
trilogy?
For the PS3, I think it was just the first one, but then it was all three. It was like only if you bought like the Star Wars PS4 or something.
There was
that.
Yeah, it was an exclusive. Yeah. I remember that being some kind of a crazy deal. So
because I think it was something where they couldn't distribute it online, but they gave it away if you got the Darth Vader PlayStation or something like that.
Right? Yeah. And I feel like it was a pre-order bonus for another
for a different game. Yeah, but I don't remember which one.
I don't know if it was Fallen Order or if it was Battlefront or something. I just can't remember, but yeah, so kind of speaking of EA, they kind of leaked Apex Japan kind of leaked that Apex is coming out on the February 2nd. Like it was at the end in the fine print of this YouTube video, right? It was official YouTube video, and now it's been removed. Like
all in Japanese. They updated the video, removed it, but haven't addressed it at all. Yeah.
So that pretty much makes it official.
If they're gonna have that, and this is happening. I was watching I think it was RGT 85. I think I had him on in the background while I was doing some stuff, and he's like, "What?" And it's the same question I've been asking myself. Like, what are these companies doing? Like, why did Nintendo put up Banjo for the Wii U? Why? Is this? It almost feels like it's on purpose because it gets a ton of buzz. Yeah, it gets a ton of buzz and gets. I mean, we're talking about it right now, right? And so
it's free press that preps it up and or pumps it up, and it you don't have to pay for all the YouTube ads or pay the influencers or do any of that. It's all just, there's plenty of YouTube videos made and tweets and all sorts of posts made on Reddit and that kind of stuff. I mean, it gets the word out. So
yeah,
the marketing's already done. Just one little official YouTube video that they didn't even have to promote.
Right. Yeah. And the new season also starts February 2nd for Apex. So it all kind of, it's kind of coming together, so it would be.
I wonder if they're going to announce it ahead of time, or is there going to be some sort of mini showcase on February 2nd, that one of those short little 4-minute videos that uploads, and it's we got 8 games that we're going to show you, and
available later today.
Yeah, later today. Apex.
I mean, that we all knew Fortnite was coming out at E3 2019.
E3, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, and then they hit us at the end. I think it was near the end, or was maybe it was one of the first things. I don't remember, but we all knew it was coming, but it was there, and then it was available to download later that day, and they hit number 1. And I mean, Apex is a free game to play. They'll hit number 1 on the eShop, and they'll probably also sell plenty of $20 to $30 bundles to unlock a lot of the
characters that have been there. Yeah.
Yeah, and Nate is saying if it is the second in Japan, it will be the first here. So something to note. And that's the other question I wonder too, is there's a lot of past DLC or characters to buy. I can't remember how Apex works. I know they have season pass. I'm sure there's plenty of skins for guns and characters, but I wonder if they're going to take the route of Paladins and Smite and sell a founders pack on the Switch to get people started.
Yeah, I remember doubt if there was one.
I was gonna say, because I remember I have it on Xbox, and I paid money for the 4 or 5 heroes or whatever they're called in Apex the day it launched on
It was like a founders pack
PC,
or something.
Xbox. Yeah, it was like founders.
Yeah.
It was like
Yeah.
$20 or $30, I think. The one thing I've said, you can probably go back a ways on this podcast. I've talked about wanting them to take the Epic route and link all their stuff, but I think they said their code is
It's not
made it
built
hard to do
yeah.
that. But whatever, I'm sure there's someone that could figure it out. But like, I want my PlayStation, Xbox, PC, Switch to all be linked together. The characters I have purchased on my Xbox, I want to be able to enjoy them everywhere. And then find a way. I know that I think they've moved to a battle pass system. I haven't played in a while, so I'm not sure. But I think they have some kind of. They're free to play games are stupid if they're not adopting the Fortnite model, because Rocket League has done it. I believe Apex has done it. It's a way to.
I don't remember that company,
but
but
keep people invested in your game. And Call of Duty's even done it on a game that you pay for. But I mean, it's also on Warzone, which is free.
right.
But like, they've found a way to keep players engaged, keep them playing their game longer, and it's for a one-time $20 fee or whatever, and it keeps your community alive and progressing throughout the season, and keeps them engaged the whole way through, which is good.
Well, we've been playing Fortnite on stream pretty regularly, and I'm playing with like massive, like a lot of people are coming through, and you know, I'm having a blast just leveling up. So I'm excited for Apex on the Switch. I don't know how it's gonna play though. I'm a little nervous. Like
I'm worried about how it's gonna play.
I was watching some videos today, and I'm like, man, if it's like Fortnite is okay, but your draw distance is a little bit like at times you're like, is that a guy or a sign? You know what I'm saying? Like, what am I shooting at right now? But
yeah,
I mean,
they haven't shown anything of it, so that's oof.
Yeah, that's a little disheartening.
Yeah, and especially
maybe
they
this will be the
cross play with the other systems, so it's like it's going to be. Maybe
they take a page. Maybe they take a page out of xCloud and Stadia, and we see our first cloud gaming multiplayer experience.
I mean, you never know.
Could be rough.
That was a cloud game. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it starts off like native, and then they're like, you know what, it's just not working as well. Like, because now once it comes out, they're gonna need to keep it up to date with the other platforms.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, and if you remember back to when Switch came, or when Fortnite came out on Switch, like most all of us, I think, had most stuff installing on our SD cards, and then the game wouldn't render appropriately, especially if you landed at like towers or something like that. You'd just land on messed up geometry and you'd bounce around for a little bit. And then the internet collectively figured out that the game loaded better, especially in those instances. I think it cached data better if it was saved on your internal memory. So you had to move Fortnite to your internal storage, and the game ran better. But I mean, I think since Fortnite is like sitting at 20 to 30 gigs, I think on
it's no
on
joke.
Switch, and I mean it's rough to keep it updated because like what Chris said, they have to keep it parodied with all the other systems while they don't have to worry about mobile anymore because Google and Apple took it off, but they're having to keep it updated so it runs with Xbox, PlayStation, and PC. So
I think even when it first came out, like they were working on issues with it, and so it wasn't on parity. So they made it so they got rid of crossplay for a little while, and you could only play against other Switch owners. I think
it prioritized Switch matchmaking with mobile, and mobile matchmaking with mobile and Switch.
Yeah.
And the only way you got into a game with console and PC players was if you matchmade with somebody that was on another platform. Yeah.
I remember the early days. If you wanted to win, you played on Switch. If you wanted to sweat, you went on Xbox.
But then they came out with a better ELO system, I think, and skill-based matchmaking, and it seems to be parodied across everything now pretty well.
Well, and I mean, you can tell the game is loaded with bots. You're fighting a lot of bots, like a lot of bots, especially early on. Like I wouldn't be surprised if on the Switch, just to keep, I don't know if maybe it's a lag thing or something, but if it's like maybe 20 people,
it only fills it up to like 20, 30 people. And
Yeah.
then the rest are bots.
And you could kind of tell by the way they move. They'll build one wall and then they'll turn and run away from you, or like they'll shoot you once and then pull their hammer out and you're like, there's no way this is an actual person. There's not.
Or they're shooting like way in the distance, not even at you, like just next to you. It's
yeah,
like
and I mean Apex, it helps that I think it's only 20 teams, so 60 people, I think, total.
Yeah, it's not 100, yeah.
It's not 100. I don't even know if they have plans to go to 100. I think they're happy with how they have it playing.
And I think they're only trios, aren't they?
They are only trios. Yep. I think they have some special events where you can run solos and stuff, but
yeah,
I haven't been keeping up that much on Apex. But I love that it's in. I wish they would lean more into like the lore of Titanfall, because that world Apex is in the Titanfall world. I'd like to see I'd be more into it, I think, if there was wall running and more of like the grappling hook, because I think there is grappling hook movement in there, I think, if you have a certain weapon. But like all the guns are Titanfall guns, and Josh and I, having been playing Titanfall since Xbox One, I mean, it's something I enjoyed. That was one of the reasons why I got a launch day Xbox was for that game, and it was a lot of fun. And I wish they would lean more into the lore and a little bit more of the what is it? Is it the Titan Wars or Titanium War? I forget what it was actually called.
I don't remember, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's history and a whole world developed there, and I think movement is good in that game, but it could be better if they, I think, took a little bit more of the Titanfall stuff.
And I wonder if it's just a little more accessible the way it is. But I mean, you watch some of the movements, some of the characters, they're sliding forever. You know, you're sliding and shooting. Like there's definitely some of it's definitely pulled from Titanfall. But
yeah, there's still Titanfall bunny hop, because Titanfall bunny hopping, it's momentum based, and you could get the slide hop, bunny hop going, and you can cruise.
Right.
So yeah.
I know.
It's there.
I think I don't. Probably, have you and I played any Apex? I know I played with Chris like way back when it first came out.
Yeah, when it first came out. Yeah.
Yeah, and I had not been playing shooters like at all, and I was like, wow, I feel super rusty right now. What is going on? Because I mean, I love Titanfall. I was like, that was a great title. Like I loved that multiplayer. I had so much fun, and it felt like a you could be very strategic and it was, you know, get some good communication going, and it was great. And so I'm excited for it to come to Switch. Like, again, I don't know that I will. If I'm sitting in my office, I'm probably still going to play on my Xbox, you know, like, but if I do like I've been doing with Fortnite recently, I've been playing handheld, and I may just be, I may do that periodically. It's just going to depend on how. Fortnite is great because it's like with so many bots, and you really don't have to build. It's a pretty casual game at this point. If you want it to be.
Right.
I don't know if Apex is going to be that way. I feel like it's going to be a little more competitive all the time. So,
well, and the beauty of stuff coming to Switch when it's on other platforms to play. Yes, when you're at home, there's probably better ways to play it. But the Switch, I have a second dock, and it's like always in my Switch backpack, and it's ready to go if I go on vacation back when the world gets somewhat back to normal and I can leave my house to go somewhere else more fun. Having that there as a way to play with hotel Wi-Fi, it's not the greatest, but there's ways around that to have a little bit better internet when you're traveling. But just having a wider variety of games to have, and also what you're used to playing with at home, even if it is a little bit different, but just that helps communities if they like it was like what we talked about was with Fortnite. It was big coming to Switch because it was a mobile version of a console that was able to be taken everywhere and played as long as you had an internet connection.
Yeah.
And it's a lot better to play that than it is playing on mobile. And now you can't even play it on mobile. So it's the only way to play it out on the go.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's transition over into 2021. And what do you guys think? Chris, I'm going to let you kick this off because you hit me up like a week or two ago and you said, "Hey, are you guys going to be talking about any of your predictions for 2021?" And I said yes, and then we were going to get to it last week and we didn't. And so I know you've got some things rattling around in your head that you'd like to see this year. So why don't you kick this off for us?
Yeah, so I think, well, starting pretty close to now, is that this weekend, when they have the Resident Evil event, they're going to have like the original like PlayStation 1 games on just out now on the Switch, PlayStation, Xbox, like the original games. Plus, I also think, based on, I think they were rated or they were in like some line of code on their website or something, but Resident Evil 2 and 3 cloud editions are supposed to come to Switch, and I think those will be announced there too. So I think
hopefully Resident Evil 4 remaster.
Yeah, but I mean
that won't come to Switch for a while, but
yeah.
That's another game in the talks though, right? Like that there's a possibility.
If they're going to progress how they've been going with Resident Evil 2 in 2019 and Resident Evil 3 in 2020, they can use that same engine, hopefully.
Well, and what about Revelations 3? I've heard rumblings of the possibility of that being
well, from what I heard, Revelations 3 turned into Resident Evil 8. They were making Revelations 3, and then they took a portion of it and made it into Resident Evil 8.
Got you. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. I mean, I'm like those. It's pretty rad that we have so many Resident Evil games on the Switch. Like, that's an incredible collection of games, and some of them are a little bit hit or miss, but I mean, that there's a lot of games there, and I mean, Resident Evil 8 looks pretty great. Like
the Resident Evil Village or whatever it is.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. It makes me want to finish 7 before it comes out. Like I may actually do that. I got to the point in that game where I was like, okay, it's not scary anymore. I can just now I'm gonna have to start over again and be like, dang it. So, but correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah. Is this not like a PlayStation sponsored event that's coming out?
No, they're just promoting. I think they have, the
marketing rights,
advertising,
the marketing
rights to Resident Evil 8.
Yeah,
marketing right.
Because
for Resident Evil 8, so that's why they're promoting it.
Capcom and Sony with Resident Evil games have always kind of been hand in hand.
I mean, and Street Fighter, since
until like 5 didn't Xbox really promote Resident Evil 5? I think a little bit.
I think 5
like it
launched exclusively on, didn't it, on 360? Or I can't remember.
Maybe because that was like the first co-op one, and I think Xbox was pushing that quite a bit.
And that was like online, and that's on the Switch now with Resident Evil 5 and 6 are both on the Switch with the online multiplayer. But so that's the easy prediction.
The easy one.
Yeah,
I got you.
You want me to keep going, or you got one?
Crawler, you go next, and Twitch. If you guys got any, let us know. Okay. Let us know what you guys think. So, what do you think? And we'll just keep kind of going roundtable. Like he doesn't have to end at Resident Evil. We'll keep going. So,
I mean, I like to be optimistic. I'm hopeful that we're gonna see Switch Pro this year, and I think Breath of the Wild 2 is gonna be a better on kind of thing. I'm hoping Nintendo. Well, I guess I hope it runs on both, but I hope Nintendo embraces kind of the Xbox mentality where it's like play where you want to play and we'll find a way to make it work. But like Nintendo hasn't shied away from the fact that you needed a new 3DS to play the
Xenoblade Chronicles, Minecraft,
and Super Nintendo. For some reason, Super Nintendo games on the eShop.
Yeah.
That's baffling to me as to why that needed that chip to do that. But yeah, I think I'm hopeful that we'll get both those this year. I do think if we come, we're not going to get it in March for the 4-year anniversary, but I'm hopeful that maybe Breath of the Wild 2 is going to be the holiday game this year in October, November.
So I can see that happening. Chris, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, so when do you think the Switch Pro is coming?
I think it's going to be a day and date with whenever Breath of the Wild 2 launches. It'll be like the just like Breath of the Wild 1. It'll be the console to ideally play it on, and it'll launch that day with it.
We're gonna get so many tweets about that. Hopefully all it is like the ultra settings and the not ultra settings. You know what I mean? Like hopefully that's how it's dynamic resolution. Like do not mess. I don't think they would. I think at this point it's not.
They have a 60 million install base, and they're not going to mess that up.
No, I don't see it happening. I feel like those
and I think Switch Pro is around like $400 probably.
Yeah,
$450 at the most, maybe.
I think we see it,
and I think the dock has the chip in it. I think the unit's going to get an upgrade, but I think the bigger upgrade is going to come in the dock, and you're going to get the better performance docked. And so the game is still going to have to run. There's going to have to be dynamic resolution, and it's going to be buffered by the dock.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's basically an M Classic in the dock. Mm-hmm. And then who knows what's going to happen with the FPS,
and then what happens when you have an M Classic plugged into a Switch Pro dock?
8K. I don't think that's how that works.
It's math, man. It works that way.
It's math, exactly. Exactly. So here's
4K squared.
If I don't think 4K squared, right? If the Pro's coming, I think it's coming out like late summer, early fall. The only reason I think that is so that they can get the early adopters can get it, and then they'll have a trickle of inventory down through the holidays.
That was the biggest criticism for PlayStation and Xbox, is that they didn't get there. They could have, and I think that's why the Switch was so successful as well, is because early adopters got March, and then by October, when Mario came out, that's when they had production. They actually had a secondary SKU for it as well with Mario. So yeah, I could see that.
Chris, that's kind of where you were at too, right? Kind of thinking like, because we were chatting about this. I don't know if it was on a YouTube video or something. Maybe it was on the show here. I can't remember, but it was like it's either coming in March or it's going to come like our assumption, like September. Because they got to have the inventory.
I think it's going to get announced in August, like 3 weeks ahead of time, and then released in September alongside a 2D Metroid. And it's going to be 60 frames a second on Switch Pro, 30 frames on the Switch. And they're going to also come out when the day and date with the Switch Pro is also going to be HBO Max and Apple TV Plus, but Netflix still isn't coming.
You said 2D Samus. Do you think Samus Returns gets ported, or are you thinking something new?
I'm thinking it's by the same studio, so I don't know if they're gonna like make that for the Switch or if they're gonna do something else.
I have that and I haven't finished it. I need to play that more, but
yeah, it's pretty good.
It's good. It's very good. So, chat is saying, do we think Mario Kart 9 comes out even in the Switch's lifetime? Like,
yes.
That's
a yes.
Here's what I'm thinking about is. We've had no direct from Nintendo, right? But
yeah,
we already have major game, like there's major games coming out this year already.
Yeah, Snap got a date.
For April?
April.
Right?
We have, well, who knows if Monster Hunter's actually going to launch when it says it's going to launch.
So there's an update on that. It's all based on the friends list, and they are aware of it. And
has Capcom confirmed that?
Yes, and it's a processing bug, and it's not going to be. They already have the fix in place. So, if you guys have been having that issue, if you have more than 80 friends on your list, apparently that's what makes the game stutter. It is known and will be fixed. So you have Mario in February, Monster Hunter in March,
Pokemon in April. Possibly more Pokemon coming.
That's and that's my point. That's kind of what I'm getting at. Like, there has to be, like, I think we all have these big dreams of like, oh, it's all these anniversaries and let's get this and this and this and this. It's like, we still have to be realistic of them not oversaturating their own market and leaving room to be able to sell all of these games. Like, and now that third parties are we saw it last year, and I don't think the third parties stepped up quite like we were hoping they would. Like, Doom came out way late, right? It was supposed to be day and date with the other systems, and so I have a feeling, like, as much as I don't want to be like, I've got to reel in my expectations a little bit, because I think Pokemon is going to dominate this year, and I think Zelda will too.
So what of the rumors of Pokemon are you thinking? Because I've heard both, Pearl and Sapphire or whatever remastered, Diamond and Pearl remasters, and then also a Let's Go Meryl and Let's Go Pichu.
Well, apparently the rumor is it's one or the other, but apparently from what I hear, it's going to be Diamond and Pearl. And then, but yeah, there was also supposed to be a Pokemon like collection of sorts of like the old Game Boy games, some of the old Game Boy games.
What, like Red, Blue,
Yellow?
Would they put green on it?
Well, green is only in Japanese.
Green. Okay. Well, I mean, they localized
Fire Emblem.
Fire Emblem. I mean, that's the biggest hope. I think the Fire Emblem 30th anniversary was that 30th? Yeah, 30th.
Yeah, 30th.
I think that gave Mother 3 fans, I think, the biggest hope that Nintendo might actually localize some stuff that has never been localized before.
Yeah. I think that's what you can expect from the Pokemon game, is something like that Fire Emblem, like the box with a code inside.
The stuff that they had in that 30th, I'm not even a huge Fire Emblem fan, and just the book that came with that 30th anniversary stuff, and the Crystal NES cart it's worth the $50, because the art inside that book. I hope we get more stuff. Like, I have the Zelda Encyclopedia and like the Hyrule Historia and all that kind of stuff, and I have the gold Zelda cart style encyclopedia book for Zelda. I'm hoping we get something cool this year for the 35th anniversary, and they stick with doing some really cool book and artwork stuff, and give us something really cool. I mean, they had was that this year the Hallmark had the 30th, or like the gold Legends of Zelda cart as an ornament? I mean, they have stuff out there, and I mean, I just really hope they lean into it, because Nintendo, more so than Sony and Xbox, has fanboys that are willing to throw down money for stupid stuff on their shelves. I mean,
right? Yeah,
it's there.
And I think they're gonna want, like, at least, like, the Netflix, Apple TV Plus, the HBO Max, because there's not going to be any games that are really 4K on the Switch, so they'll want something to be like, oh, it's 4K
showpiece.
Here's like, so at least you can just hook that up and you dock it, and then you start watching TV. But you
can at least do a pixel test somewhere. Yeah,
do it somewhere. But yeah, I think May we're gonna get WarioWare. I also think the Switch Pro is gonna have a D-pad as opposed to
That would be nice.
Yeah.
So
that
like
would be nice.
non-switchable Joy-Cons? Is that what you're thinking? Like they won't come off?
No. I think they'll come off. I think they'll just have D-pads instead of the buttons. Well,
You just
the
have
one.
So
then
you can't play.
You'll have the Mad Cat. You'll have the Mad Cat's Joy-Con versus the regular Joy-Con.
So you can't play. Mario Party then if you're gonna do that.
Yeah. Well, did I mention the Switch Pro's docked only?
Oh, okay, there it is. So you're just using a Pro controller. So okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
No, I don't think they're gonna do that. I don't think.
Gotcha.
Well, I think I wouldn't be surprised if they end up doing that. Sort of like, what was it? Was it like the red Wii only in Canada that had like, it had some weird stuff like no Wi-Fi or something.
I think that was in the States here. I think that it came packaged with Mario Kart.
The Mario Wii or whatever.
It was like Mario Kart Wii, and it was this weird shape, and it had no Wi-Fi or something.
E, right? The Wii E, the Wii
yeah,
E version or E
like,
something.
Should have called it the NE, like non-electronic, because you're not getting on the internet with that thing.
But yeah. I think we're going to get Breath of the Wild in the end of October, and then right before Thanksgiving, we're going to get the Diamond and Pearl. And I don't know. I feel like the Breath of the Wild, and there's going to be like the Legend of Zelda collection. And then I also think in like September or October, we're also going to get like something sort of like Legend of Zelda 35, but I think it's going to be something to do with Four Swords instead of.
I'd be okay with that.
What if it was Four Swords, but like endless dungeon? Like you you had to have like it would be a little more arcadey, right? Less about the items like this person has the hook shot, this person has the boomerang, you got bombs, and you got this, and let's just get through this dungeon.
Just a Zelda roguelike kind of just.
Yeah.
I'd take that because I think with Link's Awakening they beta tested like how we would take a Zelda maker, and it backfired hard. Like because that was not a fun aspect of that game. It became just too specific on what you had to do, and it wasn't unique enough on just kind of designing your own Zelda adventure through a dungeon. So
right.
I think they maybe just scrapped whatever they kind of had in mind, and they're either going to have to come up with something unique like that. Well, and we kind of have a Zelda roguelike with Cadence of Hyrule a little bit, but that's also just a different style of game with it being rhythm based as well. But I think I hope we see something fun and unique for Zelda this year. Like in the spirit of Mario 35, but I don't want that for Zelda. I want something new and unique, kind of like what we were talking about.
Like the people that did Streets of Rage 4, and what was they did another game that like Windjammers, like the new Windjammers 2. Mm-hmm. They said if they could do any game, they would want to do Legend of Zelda 2, but look like really hand-drawn animation and everything. And that I could see that being like the January, February thing. Oh, and I also think this. So go ahead.
When you said Zelda anniversary stuff, are you thinking like the Master Collection like we got on GameCube as the promotional? Was that promotional or was that just pre-order stuff that was originally there?
It was, if you pre-ordered it, right? Wind Waker, I think.
But yeah, that
right?
was I believe so. But like, are you thinking that, or are you thinking more in depth than just those? Because that was. What games were on that Master Collection? It
was the Master Quest, and it was
Ocarina of Time, right?
Ocarina of Time, Master Quest, and then didn't have Majora's Mask.
There was two different. If you guys remember correctly, there was two different GameCube games that were like pre-order bonuses. There was the Ocarina, and then there was another one as well. And I think didn't that one have like a Four Swords or something tied to it? But I can't. I don't.
Or it had like. OG didn't have like original Legends of Zelda on it.
Possibly, I can picture the box art like it was red for the Ocarina stuff, and the other one was gray with like a Triforce on it.
Yeah.
But maybe a way to solve this as well is Nintendo gives us an update. Maybe we finally get an OS update as well, and themes and all sorts of fun stuff for the home screen on Switch. But we also get.
I hope not, unless they fix something, because right now it takes
True.
5 minutes to remove a friend and to add a friend. I'm like, don't add anything. It used to be fast. Now it's terrible.
But maybe we see
and themes are going to be exclusive to the Pro. Themes are exclusive to the Pro.
But maybe we see like the SNES update to NES Online. We get a Game Boy update, and then they can add a lot of the because Zelda has lived so much on Game Boy. We get to see a Game Boy update. I would love to see a 64 update as well, but like beggars can't be choosers, I guess. But there's so many Zelda games on Game Boy and Game Boy Color that they could put on that collection, so they could, in a way, give us those games without having to do. It would be a quality. It's Nintendo not getting a lot of money, but we also don't see the return that they get when they announce new features for the SNES or like Switch Online service. Maybe they'd see a bump in people buying it. I don't know.
Yeah.
And this, I mentioned earlier, playing Contra, right? I bought all that Konami stuff, and the first game I went to was the Game Boy Contra game, and it just made me want Game Boy games so badly on the Switch. The music, the way it looks.
Is it 4x3?
It is, but it's blown up nicely. The pixels were nice and sharp. It was just done. When I play Tetris 99, my favorite theme is the Game Boy one. Hearing those sounds again, like the wizards that worked on the music on those Game Boy games, just to get those to get those chip tunes in there. Like I love that kind of stuff. And there's this is the year to do that if they're gonna get Pokemon involved, right? And also Zelda's got Minish Cap. Of course, you got Link's Awakening, which is already done. But maybe we see Minish Cap get a Link's Awakening treatment. I feel like even just with the few things that we've talked about, we've already filled this year.
Yeah. Oh, and Nate brings up a good point in chat. We're coming up on 4 full years of Switch, and we have one sports game.
Mm-hmm.
Like we have to have, I think, golf and something else. I'm hoping it's either Sluggers or Strikers. I'm leaning more towards Strikers because it's been. I don't know which has been longer. Sluggers was on GameCube. Was there anything?
Well, Sluggers, they only ever made 2 of them.
Did they only make 2 of them?
Well,
Striker, I want Striker. I think
too,
with how successful Strikers was on Wii, I think they would be dumb not to make another one. So I think golf is a formality because they're dumb if they don't make a golf game, and golf is one of their best selling Mario sports games that they have. And I'm hopeful that we see more sports games because what studios at Nintendo are those kind of second party studios like what they had?
It's who they just purchased that made Strikers.
Yeah, I was gonna say yeah. So hopefully stuff's kind of in the works.
Well, right. And I mean, soccer is more popular now than ever. I feel like when the Strikers games first came out, soccer wasn't as popular as it is now, at least in the States.
Yeah, Fortnite just got a deal with soccer, so Fortnite's going to be having soccer jerseys here pretty soon.
Yeah, I mean, and it seems like, and it's fun. Like Strikers is so much fun to go back to. It's so much fun. I love golf also. Like I think it's great. I just don't know that golf is going to have the same appeal to a younger audience at all.
I think if they get simultaneous play going and it's arcadey fun golf. I mean, Golf Story did well for what it was, and it wasn't even a fully fledged just only golf game. I've always enjoyed I played Hot Shots Golf, I think is what it's called on PSP and PlayStation. Those arcadey golf titles, and even Tiger Woods has like or before, I don't even know what it's called now. I think it's just called PGA Tour. Maybe it's Rory McIlroy. I don't know, but like there's ways to make those, even the simulation games, similar to kind of an arcadey style golf game, because of just the control that you can have on the ball while it's in flight just changes. Like, it's not real golf when you're spinning a ball like that in the air. But I think they'd be crazy not to have at least one, if not two, sports titles come out this year.
My big thing is I don't want them to mix them again, because I feel like we just get like, I feel like we don't get very quality games when they do that. I feel like they're just kind of neutered, you know? Like we don't get the real meat and potatoes from them. We just get like the shell.
Yeah, I'm wondering if they're gun shy because of the back. Like, Aces just fell off. Like, it was great for what, like 2 months, and then population on that game just plummeted, and it's a ghost town right now if you try to go in and find an online game.
I think it still sold well though. That's their big thing, is to just keep getting those initial sale numbers, right? So I'm trying to get numbers on World Tour to come up right now, because I'm curious on how it did. It has an 8.1 Metacritic score, and it looks like I don't know, that these charts sometimes are a pain to read. Like, they're not the greatest, but let me see if I can find another one. It's like, just give me the actual numbers. Sometimes Wikipedia is the way to go, you know what I mean? So, but I'm just curious how it did on the
3DS.
The 3DS, yeah. So let's see here,
because that I think that's still a 3DS title that costs like $30 to $40. Like, it's still up there.
Yeah, and it had DLC. You know, it had the RPG elements. It had I have Callaway gear in that game. Like,
they had on brand,
they had the license
promotional tie-in.
So, I mean, I want golf, right? But I have a feeling what we'll see is there'll be hype around it and it'll fall off like Aces. That's my gut feeling. Like,
but at least something like that with World Tour, you had the create your own tournament thing.
Yep.
So you can have communities that keep the game alive, even if it's not in the public realm. It's at least can be ongoing if you want it to. The game doesn't have to die. Because Aces, they still haven't, I don't even know if they've given us a great way to do your own tournament. So, like, that was one thing that they did right with World Tour, was play, like, it was the 7-day online tournament, play at your own pace, like, that keeps a community alive and engaged in that game. So hopefully they don't, like you said, neuter the game a little bit to pull out stuff and not have it live up to its full potential, because there are expectations with these games, and I think Aces fell flat a little bit with not having enough like of a like engaging single player experience to RPG. Kind of, it was lacking in that respect.
World Tour, I mean, if we saw something like that, it was great. We were doing tournaments with the podcast
like a year ago.
Yeah, like exactly. Like a year or two ago, we were still playing Mario Golf as a community, and there was probably, you know, a couple dozen of us that were jumping in and playing around, and it was a lot of fun. I want it. I'm not sure what they're doing. If a Zelda collection comes out and Breath of the Wild, there's Breath of the Wild 2. If we get the Metroid Prime trilogy, which it hit a retailer at one point, but I don't know if that was just somebody, messing around or whatever. I'm just not sure where we fit all these games in, because like I would love to see Wind Waker and Twilight Princess make their way to the Switch. Those ports are amazing and deserve to be played by more people.
we're pretty much at a title a month,
and we haven't even mentioned Mario Kart 9.
And we haven't even had any kind of like information from Nintendo about any of this stuff except for the first 3 months.
Yeah.
And one of those isn't even first party. And that, I mean, I think with what you mentioned about third party, I think with the new systems out, I think we see third parties pulling away for the here's the title for these, and we're going to see maybe some of those third parties like Capcom, what they're doing with a Monster Hunter that is just for Switch. And maybe we see some of these developers putting a studio on just making a Switch exclusive. Because the Doom Eternals can't keep coming at this point. And like what was it, Immortals Phoenix Rising, like the draw distance wasn't super great on Switch, and performance I don't know how it compared, but it was a game that was for all the systems, so of course it's not going to run great on the lowest performing system out there.
Right. Yeah. But tomorrow morning, January 20th, we got Hitman 3 coming out on the Switch. Like
Cloud comes out tomorrow.
The cloud version comes out at the same time tomorrow at 8 a.m. But yeah, like thinking back to 2020, that like Nintendo had they had Age of Calamity in November. October they had Pikmin 3 Deluxe. Then September they had 3D All Stars. July they had Paper Mario. And then June, it barely counts, but they had the jump rope challenge.
Hey, but they left it up because people wanted it.
Yeah.
And Clubhouse was somewhere around.
Yeah, June 5th. And then May 29th, they had the Xenoblade remake.
Definitive,
and then they had the digital version. They published this Good Job.
Right.
They had that, and then in March, obviously, they had
Animal Crossing.
That small little Animal Crossing. But then in January 17th, they had the Tokyo Mirage Sessions, and March, they had the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. So, I mean, and they also, in Japan, they had the Brain Training, but that never came out over here.
Yeah.
Oh, and we have Persona Strikers. When does that have a date yet?
February. Yeah.
Okay.
Is that February?
Is that day and date with everybody?
What?
Is that day and date with everything?
Well, it's only on the Switch and PS4.
Is it only? Okay. Well, is it PS4 coming out the same day?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
it's already because it's already out in Japan.
It came out in Japan like this time last year. Yeah. But that plus Bravely Default 2, which Nintendo's publishing. I mean, Nintendo, like at this point, they don't need to have a new game every month. You know,
but they make such a big deal out of their anniversaries, and so we want them to do everything.
Right. I wouldn't. Yeah, I'm ready for them to release some sort of like. We haven't seen any special edition Swish lights.
Right.
So,
they need to. I mean, game
or a green one.
They need to do a Game Boy version. Like all the like fanboy mock-ups are so cool of Switch and Switch Lite stuff. I mean. They have color schemes already in the history books. Just do it.
Yeah,
they'll sell them. I mean, they will.
And then the last thing I'll predict. Well, I got two things real quick. That in November, the end of October, beginning of November, they're going to announce that in February they will have Nintendogs coming out. And they're coming to the Nintendo Switch, and it's going to use the built-in mic on the Switch Pro, or it's going to also come with a microphone of some sort that hooks up, and you're going
to a Wii Speak for Switch.
You have to talk to your app. You have to talk to the app.
Yeah, you got to get the app, and then it'll say, "Oh, your dog is in the chat." And then you join, and you can talk to your dog.
Your dog is in the chat.
Haptic touch on your iPhone to pet your dog.
Yes, exactly. And then the other thing is, I think they're going to announce that the Switch Pro is going to allow the Switch Pro to be docked, and then you to use a second Switch as a second screen for the Switch.
So Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles can finally be played how it's supposed to.
It can finally be played how it's supposed to. Same with, with Wonderful 101. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Nintendo Land, here we come. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Hey, that's how they get Nintendo
All
Land
for
out.
Nintendo Land.
Yeah. Nintendo Land. Yep.
That's the last title, right? That in Wind Waker HD.
Xenoblade
The
X.
Xenoblade X.
Yeah.
Yep. Which didn't Monolith say that's never going to happen?
They said it would be a lot harder than the remaster of that would be a lot harder than the remake of Xenoblade 1.
Well, they kind of already had Xenoblade 1 like half coded with the 3DS version.
Well, like Monster Games did the 3DS version.
Save.switch.exe.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
Done.
about that.
Done.
Yeah, hamsters. That would be nice if they brought hamsters. Nintendogs plus hamsters.
Yeah. Thank you, chat, for that one. But yeah, I mean, so I just feel like tempering expectations because I mean, I feel like we
threw out way too much.
Well, not just us, like everybody is. I feel like last year was kind of disappointing when it came to like.
Yeah, we're also starved. We're starved because of that.
Yeah, exactly, and so it's tough. And I mean, I'm on the side that's like, look, Nintendo's healthy. Let's take some more risks. And like, I saw Punch Out was mentioned in chat. F-Zero would be another like, and I wish Nintendo would, and they're starting to, but I wish a game like Punch Out, like, it doesn't have to be a $60 title. A game like F-Zero doesn't have to be a $60 title. Like, capitalize on some of these talented indie studios to be trusted with some of their IP, and we've seen it with Cadence of Hyrule and
Punch Out can take a Wii approach as well, where it can be played with a controller, or they could utilize some of the technology that they've implemented in Jump Rope and in Ring Fit Adventure, and give you something to make it a interactive experience. Because we had the Wii Balance Board, which I threw Nintendo money at that point in my life, and I played Punch Out with leaning back and forth and with Wiimotes in my hand and all that kind of stuff. I mean, they have Joy-Cons. They have Joy-Cons. They have a leg strap from Ring Fit Adventure, and they have accelerometer technology that they've done with Jump Rope and all sorts of other games that they've done. They could make it an interactive experience for $20-$30.
Plus, I think we're going to get I think they're going to have another crossover with an indie developer. I think we're going to get like a Splatoon side scroller from Drinkbox, who did Guacamelee and Guacamelee 2, and they're going to do some sort of Splatoon.
Are you being serious? I can't tell if you're trolling or
I have heard the want for like an expansion on the Splatoon universe, because like Nintendo has this new fairly new IP
Popular.
that they haven't taken full advantage of.
Team Mushroom, by the way. Team Mushroom.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
All right, we're at hour 20, so let's wrap this thing up. We want to continue to hear from you guys, though. Keep this conversation going in the Discord. What do you guys think does this year look like? Because starting to break it down, all of a sudden this year looks very full, and we haven't heard anything yet. But we know Pokemon Company is not going to they'll put out. We got that MOBA from them. We get
to catch Pokemon in our sleep here soon too, right?
Right.
Yeah, Pokemon Sleep, Pokemon Mobile. They got the Pokemon or Detective Pikachu they announced 2 years ago or whatever.
Oh yeah, that's right. It's gonna come to Switch. That's right. I forgot about that. They got a lot of stuff.
There's a lot out there, and the Zelda anniversary. I don't think Nintendo's gonna just sleep on it. I don't think Zelda quite has the pull Mario does, but there's still I think there's gonna be something there.
Hey, do we get Galaxy 2 before the March 31st deadline?
I don't even
I don't know why that got left out. I don't know what Yoshi did to Nintendo to not want him to include him in that adventure.
Maybe because you would need to require pretty much, wouldn't you? Like motion controls, like it would be harder to play if you're playing on the Switch Lite. I think some of the Yoshi stuff with the tongue and everything, but yeah. So I'm just hopefully this year is good. I'm looking forward to playing a lot of Switch games. Hopefully, even like indie games like Hollow Knight and other stuff coming out.
Don't say Silk Song around Crawler. There'll be a tear.
Silk Song.
It builds up in his eye every time he has to say the word Silk Song.
Silk Song was the cover article on Edge magazine or whatever this past month. So I need to go track down a physical copy of that magazine so I can check it out.
There you go. KAR Gaming, who's Kyle, says I want soft war. So
yeah. We all want software.
That
and at least 2 more characters in Mario Kart Live. And 2 more racers.
Yeah. Well, and
bite your tongue.
2 more racers.
Bite your tongue.
Like, I feel like last year too, DLC, like Pokemon was like, no game, here's DLC. Like, I have a feeling we're gonna see some more DLC for like Hyrule Warriors. Animal Crossing. I don't know what they're doing with Animal Crossing at this point. I don't know if they were like, oh,
when's the Mario stuff?
March.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. I have a feeling it's gonna be I talked about it in my vlog today that it's probably gonna be March 10th. My hope that it's
Mario
March 10th.
Day. That makes
it's a holiday, and that Mario shows up, in a costume like Isabelle dressed up like the Easter Bunny or whoever did, right? But where's a costume like that? And
you're ruining that.
I know. Sorry, kids. Sorry.
But hey, if because that what they got you to go back and play Pocket Camp was the cheap fishing derby or whatever.
Yep.
They might actually get me to put Animal Crossing back in on Mario Day if they did like a cheap derby and that kind of stuff. I would do that.
How long have we been recording this?
A long time now. And
nobody's mentioned Smash
DLC. That was the next thing out of my mouth. So. Yeah.
I mean, Fighter Season 3, I think happens. They need to keep it going as long as they can, just because it's ultimate. Like, and who knows if they're ever going to be able to compile that again.
Yeah, it is. It's ultimate.
Yeah,
it is. And it is the ultimate.
Coming to the Switch as well. Kid Icarus.
Again, that was one I mentioned. 3DS. That was one I mentioned today. I mentioned it today in my vlog.
And I think one Chris mentioned last week that we never got around to was Nier Automata, right?
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so many. Like, there's just, I don't know. This year could be, all I can foresee at this point is like, we've all got like, wow.
Nintendo can't handle that. They don't want to give refunds for that.
Yeah, no, they don't. Yeah, no. But all right, Chris, where can people find you?
You can find me on YouTube, Twitter, Super Nintendo, pretty much everywhere.
He just got a new computer.
Super Nintendo, though.
Oh, Super Nintendo, though, on Twitch. But he just got a new computer. He's getting ready to just put content out. We're gonna start tackling all the weapons in Monster Hunter. We've done a couple videos so far. We're gonna deep dive into that game, and we're kind of tag teaming some stuff. So make sure to hit up both of our YouTube channels because there's gonna be a lot of stuff coming out there.
Oh yeah,
Crawler, where can we find you?
February.
Wait, say that again.
I said an Apex in February.
Yeah, let's do it.
When it happens. Best spot to find me, you guys, is hanging out in the Discord, n64josh.com/discord. Come race Mario Kart with us. I know Josh and I were talking about how we missed the VR grind, so maybe we'll mix it up a little bit and start doing some live racing again. But we've been having a good time. As long as the people are there, we're having a good time when we're doing the tournament where we're keeping rooms full of about 8 to 10 people. It's been a good time. So yeah, come race Mario Kart. If you're playing Smash, I know the Smash League is going right now, and I think there's still room if you want to hop into a team.
Yep.
Where we have 2 different East Coast and West Coast going, so you can kind of be more on your schedule. So come in and inquire about that in the Discord, and look for another Smash Bros. Cast, because we're probably going to get something up here to promote end of the month tournament that we'll be doing. I think is that the 30th?
I think it's the 30th. Yeah, it's last Saturday.
Okay.
So
yeah, so we'll probably get an episode up sometime later this week, and where we can talk more about anticipating fighters for this year. And so yeah, check out the Smash Bros. Cast.
There you go. A little more details on the Mario Kart thing, guys. We're doing a tournament, and we probably had 30 people the last time we played, on Monday. Or I'm sorry, Friday.
Monday.
Yeah,
the Monday before. And Monday before last. Yeah.
Yeah, we've had really good turnout. So if you're wanting to play Mario Kart, I know you own it. If you're listening to this, you probably own Mario Kart. So
Twice.
At least. So we just punch in the tournament code and we all race together. And it shuffles every 4 races. It's a lot of fun. We get you get to a variety of different racers of all different skill levels. Some people are brand new and just getting into it. Some people are old rusty vets with 600 plus hours, and and it's a good time. And we're seeing people from all over the world as well. Because when I'm live on Twitch, I'm also live on TikTok, and it's been a really good time. So we'd love to see you guys. You can follow me everywhere at N64Josh. A lot of YouTube content, a lot of Twitch content, a lot of TikTok content. Thank you guys for listening. We really, really appreciate you, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye now. I gotta find the button. Hang on. There it is.
Nailed it.